obviously just getting a win to win the series was, our main concern today. And I thought we did just enough. We played solid defense, and we didn't give them much. Walked them 4 times, but they walked us more than that, and they made an error. And in that inning, we ended up scoring 5 runs, and we've been good at that. If we get an extra at bat, or maybe something like that starts a rally. But good job by our offense early in the game, staying in the zone, laying off borderline pitches early in the count, getting pitch counts up, and in some cases getting a better pitch to hit, or even taking a walk. And when you score 5 runs in 1 inning, sometimes it's hard to overcome that if you're in the other dugout. And I think that's kind of what went on today. As far as pitching wise, I felt like Gage had really good stuff. Just wasn't locating quite the way we were hoping. Give Tennessee credit; they fouled off pitches and they worked him and got his pitch count up there. And then we had like a 30-minute inning, so we decided that we better get him. And Landon gave us 2 really good innings. The 3rd inning, you can see by the numbers, the fastball went from 92, 93, 94 to 90, and it just wasn't good. So I think he got us an out there, and then a walk and a homer, and we had Will ready to go, and Will pitched great, just filling up the zone with fastballs, cutters, and curveballs, and did a tremendous job because their lefty came in and shut us down pretty good there at the end. And it almost looked like both teams were getting a little tired, to be honest with you. Yeah, big win for us.
Dave, with Helfrich's grand slam, from your perspective, did you know he had got enough to get it out, and just how big of a swing was that for y'all?
So I knew the wind was lightly blowing in early. It was kind of all over the place today, and batting practice the same way, but it's warm and the ball was carrying. To answer your question, when he hit it, when it first left the bat, I wasn't sure, and then when it started going up, I said, that's going to go. Just because that's a lot of backspin on it. I mean, he crushed it straight up, 46 degrees or something like that. And, but was a little nervous because at the end, did it just barely fall over the fence? I don't know where it landed. I thought it was going to go in the green seats when it got up to the top, but I guess it came straight down. And, I don't even know the distance on it, but he hit it really hard. He just hit it up. So I guess to answer your question again, I wasn't 100% sure.
I know during the offseason there was a lot of talk about how you're going to retool the offense, be more dynamic, but yet here we are into the regular season. You've tied the school record for home runs. Has it surprised you how much power this team has? And, when did you realize that it was going to be a team like this?
We realized it in fall practice. It was, we weren't sure who was going to DH. We thought we might platoon our DH, and we could have. But Cahillo took over there and drove in 68 runs in 55 games. Pretty good job. And, but really in fall baseball, we just saw what was going on with exit velocities because we look at all that. And we thought we were going to hit some home runs. You never know how many you're going to hit. I think we ended up maybe 3rd in the league or 4th. But what we did is we got on base in front of a lot of those home runs. We took walks and we hit for a higher average, and we could bunt a little bit. In the SEC play, we were like, 11 out of 12 stolen bases going into the weekend. I don't know what we ended up with, 13, 14. We got thrown out a few times, but we just kind of take what you give us. We worked on base running a lot in the fall. Then when the season started and we were hitting like we hit, we didn't want to run ourselves out of innings, so we didn't run as much as we were thinking. But some of it had to do with injuries with guys' legs. But yeah, it's been fun watching these guys take their work from practice into the games.
Is it fair to say Cahillo's kind of the biggest difference maker, maybe in elevating you guys' ceiling this year offensively?
Well, he really helped. I mean, I wouldn't say he's the biggest because when you think about it, it's kind of running streaks. It's just like today. I got Brent Iredale hitting in the 7-hole. But at the beginning of the season, he carried us. Once we got back from Arlington for 2 or 3 weeks in there, midweek games, weekend games, non-conference, he was hammering the ball. And the ball ended up in the seats, doubles, taking his walks, and he was hitting over 400. So, he was rolling. And then Cahillo was nailing it, too, pretty good. So those 2 guys were kind of back-to-back. And then they both have their ups and downs, but the lineup it threatens you, when you see pitchers that they start nibbling a little bit and they get in trouble, and then that's when you can hurt them. So I really didn't answer your question because I really don't know the answer.
Will was not nibbling at all today. I mean, I think he threw like 10 balls to 11 hitters total. Just how good is that to see a guy that, there's been some SEC weekends you haven't used him, and then you put him against a good Tennessee lineup, and he does that.
Yeah, that's probably a lot of hard work. And what I mean by that is, he hadn't pitched for a while, but he just kept working, probably get more frustrated. I want to pitch. And then when he got on the mound, he just let it go. And he had to pitch fearless, and he did. And he just went at him. And, it was just great to see because we didn't know if he was going to be able to go one inning or three or a couple of hitters. And, you always got to have plan B, and we didn't have to use anything, which was great.
You mentioned it in your opening statement, your guys' ability to take advantage of some other teams' mistakes. I mean, is there any intangible, something you can point to in the makeup of the team that leads to that?
Well, I mean, we talk about, taking advantage of getting an extra at bat in an inning or, an error. But we also talk about, that's like taking a walk or an 0-2 walk where you're down 0-2 and you fight, and all of a sudden he walks you. Those are momentum changers, and take a lot of pride in that. But I don't think we talk about it and harp on it, but we seem to do a good job of taking advantage of it most of the time when it happens.
Yeah, I guess what went into the decision of moving Ryder as high as 5th these last couple games? Seems like he's cashed in.
Well, I thought he swung the bat really good at Florida. I thought he swung it really good at LSU. His batting practice, like I mentioned the other day, is, he's not just sitting there smoking balls out of the park to the pull side. He's hitting line drives through the middle, hitting the ball to right center. And, give credit to, I think it was it Krenzel that got him a couple of times throwing that sinker. We should have moved up on him more in the box and towards the pitcher and tried to catch that sinking 93, 95 mile an hour fastball out front a little bit. But, they kind of show us. I mean, it's what we do. It's what we've been doing forever. And we've got to watch. We've got to use our eyes and go with what we see. And, there's a guy who's hitting 8th, 7th, and now he's hitting 5th. And, today when I wrote the lineup, I thought about moving him, putting Kojal in front of him. And then I thought, well, we won yesterday. Not a big deal. Let's just keep it the same. And it worked out.
I think on pregame radio you were talking about changing to a machine as opposed to someone throwing. Is that kind of like a one-series thing? Is that something you're going to take into the SEC?
We've done it before. Coach Thompson asked me yesterday before batting practice. He said, "Hey, what do you think about using our pitch machine that has a little carry on it instead of arm? Because we always throw, because we thought it might simulate the lefty a little better, with that carried fastball and good velocity." And I said, no, that would be good. And we did it yesterday, and we thought, well, let's just do it again today. So I don't know if we did it today because we thought he had the same fastball, or if we had pitchers that our BP coaches needed a day off. I don't know, but it worked out. So, yeah.
Fischer's such a good hitter. What's your approach on him?
Yeah. Man, he's a good hitter, tough hitter, and he has a very good eye at the plate. He can hit left-handed pitchers. Even when he doesn't hit it well, he top spins it. He's hit those singles, and he got 22 home runs. And, hey, we only gave up one in 3 games. I guess that's pretty good because I think he had 3 last weekend and maybe one in the midweek. So, he's really hard to get out. You have to almost fool him a little bit, or you just have to just say, here you go. And, we didn't get him out much, so I don't really know the answer to that one. He's going to be a really good pick in the draft, and he's played at 3 different schools and done really well at 3 different schools.
Tennessee does more things to delay a game and calling time. How does your dugout take that? What do y'all?
Well, what we told our guys before the series is don't worry about all this stuff. Just play and don't just play ball. And whether it's Tennessee or a West Coast school or whoever, a lot of times that goes on. They've changed some of the rules, so you can't do it as much, because it used to be you could call timeout all the time, or infielders could go visit pitchers, and just disrupt things, break rhythm, whatever, and try to frustrate people. But, a couple times when they took some offensive timeouts, it was 2 quick outs, and they were trying to just calm down a little bit. We had a lead. They were trying to break, maybe the rhythm of the pitcher, which, hey, it's all gamesmanship. It is what it is. But our guys, we told them, just, hey, whatever, whether it's that type of stuff or, no matter who you play, if they try to get you distracted somehow, don't let it happen.
I guess one more on Ryder. I mean, I guess how much is it a premium that a catcher can hit in the lineup? In your experience, maybe in the SEC.
Yeah, I mean it's really a lot of times you don't see it because it's such a tough position. I kind of kidded with Ryder today before right after we stretched, and I just said, "Hey, how you feeling?" He said, "I feel great." I said, "You got to be tough to be a catcher, and you got to be mean." He goes, "Yeah, I know." I said, "You're that guy, right?" He said, "Yeah." So, because they take a beating up and down and crouched, and they got to think because we let our catchers call the game. Pitcher has an option to shake them. We call in some pitches, suggestions, and you have to be a really dedicated person to your physical being. He has to get his rest. He has to eat right, and he does. But to have him hit, I think about our catchers over the last 15 years. James McCann really hit his junior year. Didn't hit as a freshman, and he started the last 25 games all the way to Omaha in 2009 as a true freshman. And then his sophomore year is better, but his junior year, he might have led our team in hitting, and that was the year, 2011, that the bats were pitiful. You could have gone down to the TG&Y and bought a wood bat that was better than what we were using, and probably had a high-seam baseball, and the game got real boring, and they figured it out a little bit. But James is a great catcher. One of the greatest to ever come through here, and he's done great in the big leagues, and he'll probably be a manager one day if he wants.
Hey, Dave, what's a 20-win SEC season mean to you?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to do it. I think this is 3 years in a row. I think one of you guys brought it up last night, and I hadn't really thought about it. And then Coach said something right after the game. We were walking out to the guys. That, hey, that's 23 years in a row. And I'm like, yeah, tough to do. Congratulations. It just means that you show up every weekend and you play, and you're probably pretty good. You don't make a lot of mistakes because this league will hurt you. You look at the games. Look at all the games this weekend. Teams taking leads into the ninth and giving up homer after homer, or just things happen, and the players are good. So to win 20 in the toughest division or toughest league in the country, it's special to us.
Yeah, and I know this is still a week away, but do you feel like you've done enough to get home field here throughout the postseason?
Oh yeah.
What gives you that confidence?
20 wins in our league. That's probably the main thing, and that's probably the main thing.
Okay. And then one more. You lead the country in home wins this year. What's made this team so difficult to play here at Baum?
Well, we played a lot of games at home first, and then we've done really well here. I think we lost one midweek game that, give Missouri State credit, they scored 5 in the ninth to tie it, I think, or to win it. I don't remember what happened. I think to tie it, we went extra innings, and got off to a really good start, I think, in conference play against South Carolina. We won 4 opening weekend against Washington State. I just think we just had a lot of guys that if they didn't play on the weekend and we plugged them in, they played. They played well. You think of some of the guys on the team that, we got a couple guys that are hitting 300 that didn't play a lot, and they're right at it. And thinking about Bowles really, and put him in the midweek. He'd hit a double and a homer, double and a single, and then he'd look at me funny on the weekend like, "Hey, how come I'm not playing?" I felt bad. I even told him one day, I feel bad that I'm not playing, but those other guys just hang in there, keep doing. You're going to help us, and he did. I think against Texas, he had a 2-run homer on the opening game to give us the lead, and then we got after it the rest of the weekend. And he didn't hardly play at LSU because now, Maxwell's back. But I just feel like home games, we played well here. The crowds were good. The weather was not good at the beginning. It's been great lately, and our guys are comfortable here. And we field the ball. We don't don't make a lot of errors.
Dave, after the top of the third last night, you're down that you've already used Root, Gackle, and Jimenez, and that might not look good in the context of the series. Is this coming back and winning it? Is this something maybe you can lean on moving forward when the postseason arrives and stuff like that?
Well, I think it shows that we have guys that can get it done in the bullpen, and it doesn't always have to be the guys that have been doing it all year long. Other guys have to step up, and usually, to play for a while, you have to have maybe one guy just really come on for you, whether it's an arm or a hitter that maybe was, okay during the year, but now he's just stepped it up. There's a lot of those stories over the years of teams that play all the way to Omaha.
He obviously had the home run today, but he hit the ball really hard yesterday and today. Made another nice defensive play on the other side of second base, and a pretty nice slide on a stolen base. Just kind of, what do you make of his overall performance today and this weekend?
Today it was amazing. That home run he hit gave us 5-run lead, and like you guys were talking about, we're going to start pitching guys that don't pitch a lot on the weekend, and just to kind of spread that out, I think it took the wind out of him just a little bit over there. But he smoked that ball 107 down the left field line. He hit one 107 to right center into a light breeze. Made that play up the middle. And, if you just look at his whole body of work, he played shortstop. He started every game last year, and he started every game this year. I've only taken him out a couple of times, midweek when I'd go, hey, man, you ready to come out? And he'd always say no. And I'd say, okay, go take a break because I'm going to put so-and-so in. We'd always kid around. And so he plays just a primo position. You have to be good to play there. And then he put up these numbers, home runs, the doubles, RBIs, scored 70-some runs. To me, it's an MVP type. It's an MVP type 30 games and season.
Quickly, just curious what your thoughts on that balk call in the third inning.
I thought he balked. We all thought he balked in the dugout. Did you guys think he balked? Did you guys break it down at all? You think Tony thought he balked?
TV said he did.
Who didn't?
TV.
Said he didn't? Yeah, well, one of those guys played at Tennessee, so I'm not buying that one. No, it was different. It was different than his other moves. So if he didn't balk, it did look like he did from our side of the field. So I'm going to have to go look at it now. Okay.